first class on signals and systems, and I'll be taking the class. I again welcome some of the people who have already attending by clicking on the link now. I welcome all of you to the 5th semester, and we will see to it that we will be covering the syllabus within time, both in online mode as time permits. If there is any extension to be provided to this online class, we will generally be providing it. And what I request now is I want you to carefully see certain derivations which I do, certain theorems which I say, or certain introduction aspects which I do. You need to cover it, and each and every part will be present there as the whole. Okay, what I mean here is I'll not take the complete 5 modules and I'll do it in a one day or something like that. It will be only one module, one topic, or whatever the introduction part that is to be discussed in today's class. I'll be doing it clearly. So yes, you will be having some internet issues. I agree. Again and again, I keep on telling it. Only 55 members are there. That is fine, not a problem. Many of them would be having internet connectivity issues, and those are having good connectivity issues, I want them to attend the class regularly. Even though this video will be completely shared once I do the class, and you can able to see it again if you have any such doubts. That is not a problem. But at the same point of time, attending this online class, which is going to be the new normal in the coming days, is a major thing which is to be followed. So throughout the campus, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, all the branches and the semesters, we are using Google Meet as the online platform where I'll be able to deliver the online mode of class conduction. So see to it that you attend the classes regularly, and if you have any doubts, we will be having a special class also upon your request, and you can able to understand it in a better manner. Okay, I've already shared the PPT in your class group. I hope lecture 1 introduction is already being posted in your class group, and I want everyone to go through it on a regular basis, because these are the concepts. Signals and systems are said to be the the concepts which are covered is the basic fundamentals. I repeat, it's a basic fundamentals for the upcoming courses. If you are pursuing any postgraduate course, if you want to pursue higher studies, making your signals as the major subject, fundamental aspects of signals is quite interesting. So it is better that you follow certain things properly. Okay, so see to it that you follow certain things which is being said. Okay, so if you have any queries, I will have 5 minutes of this class. Today's session will be entirely devoted to the question and answers. Any problems if you come across, kindly let me know. I would be able to suggest you if there are any such things from my end. Okay, so let me start the class now. Yes, I'll be taking signals and systems. As you are all aware, I'll be handling signals and systems. I'll be presenting a window now. So yes, this is the subject what I'm going to handle, that is the signals and systems, which is the I'll go through the first module in this coming week, and when I complete it, again you will be having a module test. So what I'll be doing here in this module test is you will be having a set of assignments each day, and these assignments have to be submitted in the Google Classroom. So most of them have been added to the Google Classroom which I've created, and I've already shared the code which is being there. Meanwhile, many students have been quite reluctant to join to the Google Classroom. Yes, majority of them have been added. I want 100% efficiency, or 100% of the students of your class need to be added to the Google Classroom. So let me, without any further delay, let us go on to the first module, that is the lecture 1, which is the introduction 1. And before going to the lecture 1 or the introduction introduction part, so you will be having myself as the complete course instructor for all the modules in signals and systems. So if I want to go about the contents of this signals and systems, so what are the contents that is going to be discussed when it comes to signals and systems here? So here about the course and the prerequisites which are being there. And next one, I'll discuss about the course details in today's lecture, and course contents, which is entirely with respect to the module wise 2018 scheme, CBCS scheme. That is the course contents which is being present there. I hope everyone is following what I'm saying right now. If you don't understand any of the concepts, feel free to message me in the chat box after the completion of the class. Not a problem. I'll address each and every issues that has been there. Yes, it is a new thing which is to be adapted by everyone, and I want everyone to see to it that you follow it, because this is an introduction class. So if I take time, even if I spend 40 minutes of time to understand what is the basic thing that you need to see, that's not a problem. So once I go ahead, I take slowly, and I move slowly, and I later on increase the pace. That's how my style of lecture is all about. And when it comes to the course contents, it is entirely the 2018 scheme, CBCS scheme, which is there, and course outcomes, where after the completion of the course on fundamentals of signals and systems, this course can also be called as fundamentals of signals and systems. In the VTU prescribed syllabus, it is named as signals and systems, bearing the subject code 18EE54. Now, if I want to talk about this course and certain prerequisites, which forms the basic for understanding any course, if you come across the syllabus, whatever I have posted in the Google Classroom, and definitely in your WhatsApp group, if you have gone through all the modules at once, just giving a glance or giving a look at each and every module aspect which is being present there. So now this course is with respect to the fundamental course of third year, that is the UG level. So if you have your friends in the other branches, EC, communication, so they would have had this course either at the third semester or the fourth semester or later in the sixth semester. So in electrical and electronics engineering, when it comes to VTU scheme, you'll be having this as the fundamental course for a third year undergraduate level. So this course, as I told you, it forms generally, it starts with the introduction aspects, properties, operations, that is operations performed on the signals. When I talk about operations here, it is generally the mathematical operations which I perform, or certain scaling aspects that is generally being present there, and time representation of signals. When I say time representation of signals, so you have one variable or one parameter which is being present there that is able to analyze a given signal there. I'll tell you what is a slides, and various transform methods such as Fourier transforms, Z transforms, that is being applied to analyze the system characteristics. So this entire course is a 50-50 sort of a thing. When I say it, it is equal weightage have to be given to the mathematical aspects such as transformation methods, and later on the other aspects such as the introduction part, that is the properties. It forms like a hand-in-hand thing with respect to mathematics, and also with respect to the concept that is being present there with respect to each subject there. So now a thorough knowledge, as I told you, even going before the transforms. So why we need to go for a transform? So if I need to understand a given system which is there in one domain, I need to understand it in the other domain depending on the requirement there. So I need to transform certain variables that are being present there to analyze the system in the given frame, or generally generally where the system is being there. So where you will be having time as one domain and frequency as the other domain. Now the given system will be in a time domain, certain set of equations. If I want to model a system, that will be in terms of the time domain. Now I want to convert this time domain into frequency domain there. So what do? I apply the suitable transformation technique to convert this from the time domain to the frequency domain, or again the vice versa, which is being present there. So if I want to analyze the system in the time domain, it is already present in terms of the frequency domain. I need to make a conversion to analyze the system in the time domain there. So now this forms the transformation method, or the transformational activities, or the methods that is generally being employed. And a thorough knowledge of engineering mathematics is also essential in going through this course. When I say essential, it is generally starting from your basic number theory to the transformation method. You need to have each and every understanding. So I'll be teaching you in detail about all the aspects, but once you don't practice, you will not come to know certain aspects clearly. What I mean here is, initially you will be having t greater than 0, t less than 0. You will be having some values. What is the other form where you will be having the shifted property of it? So each and every part I'll go slow at once. Once you will be having a thorough understanding of certain mathematical knowledge, it would be quite easy for me to go through or increase the pace of the lecture there. So you know that 40 to 45 minutes, generally the first 5 minutes it gets over in adding you to the given class. So I'll be left out with only 40 minutes of time. So see to it that you attend the class properly and make the best use of it. That is my sincere request to all the students who are being present here. So now it forms a basics, as I already told you. If you want to understand a given subject, so the next semester you will be having a subject called as digital signal processing. So you will be able to understand it if you go through this course on fundamentals of signals and systems thoroughly, and also the digital control systems, where I just told you, if you want to analyze the domain aspects, that is the time domain and the frequency domain, you will be able to understand it better if you know the properties well. Okay, properties or the introduction operations that is being performed. So you will be able to understand it in a better manner. So now if I want to go through the course details again, I'll be having the course code as 18EE54, 5th semester, 4th subject in the 2018 scheme, CBCS scheme, that is in the electrical and electronics. So the number of lecture hours that has been allotted is generally 3 hours. We have 45 hours being given for this course on signals and systems, and you have the total credits as a 3 credits there. So the marks is being split up. The CIE marks is 40, SCE marks is 60, and the total exam hours, as you already know, it is 3 hours. So I wanted to highlight one thing in this slide here when it comes to marks split up. So CIE marks, you will be having 3 internals and 1 other assessment tool. So other assessment tools, I'll be able to guide you if it is better that you have both the assignment, and also I would like to try a new method. I'll let you know whether it can be done. So it is better that I am planning to implement MATLAB also to this course on signals and systems. So if you have the MATLAB being installed in your laptop, that would be quite good. Or else if you come to the college, once the college reopens, it would be better that you work on MATLAB and Simulink. So I'm happy to say that our college has got the full version license of MATLAB that is the total academic head count, that is the TAH license that is being given to Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering. So we are quite happy, and it promotes research and development for both the UG scholars and faculties, and also the PG scholars who are being present there in certain departments. So let me move on to the course contents. That is, if I want to analyze it with respect to the module-wise system that is being present there. So module number and the topic, I already told you. So this is the module 1, which is the introduction thing which is being present there. Module 1 generally speaks about the introduction aspects of the signals and system. As I already told you, if I want to talk with respect to the introduction, so first I need to define what is a signal, or what are the types of the signal, what are the operations that are being performed on the signal, and what are the properties of a signal, and certain numerical aspects that are being present there in case of signals and systems. So in introduction, you will be able to cover at least most of the numericals there if you understand certain properties of the signals and systems. So, and also the basic type of signals that is being present there. So next one, it is the time domain representation for the LTI system. So I want to represent a linear time invariant. So that is one of the property there. Linear is one of the property. Time invariant is one of the property. Linear time invariant system. So yes, you will be having a system called as non-linear type time variant. Yes, time invariant is there, time variant is there. I'll tell you what do you mean by those systems when I come to the properties of the system there. So next, you will be having the mathematical aspects in the remaining 3 modules. If you are good in M1 to M4, okay, mathematics 1, mathematics 2, mathematics 3, and mathematics 4. So most part of it will be mathematics 3, 4 aspect. That is what you have studied in your second year engineering mathematics, both the semesters. So the continuous time Fourier transform. The 4th module is discrete time Fourier transform. So each and every aspect here, it is quite important to analyze what is CTFT and what is DTFT. So you will be having discrete time Fourier transform. Certainly time being one of the most fundamental variable in all the signal aspects that we are going to discuss in this concept or the course which I am going to talk here. So discrete time Fourier transform talks with respect to the 4th module. And next one, you will be having Z transforms as the basic one. Z transforms, generally it is with respect to the discrete signal. If I want to analyze a discrete signal, I'll be going for the Z transforms, and I need a basic understanding of the concept of complex numbers, and you need to understand what is real axis, imaginary axis. So how we are going to analyze the ROC. ROC means region of convergence. So these are certain aspects which are being present there in detail when it comes to module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, and 5. So entire module wise distribution of the fundamentals of signals and systems we are going to discuss in this course here. So now after understanding all these aspects, you will be able to see what are the course outcomes. COs are being especially important once you are in an accredited institute. So we are so happy to say that we have been recognized as autonomous institute, and we are so happy that the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering is accredited for the 2nd cycle of NBA till June 2023. So any accredited institute will have a higher reputation once you go to any industry. If you want to pursue any job opportunity at a reputed industry, or if you want to pursue your higher studies, any university, any top level university will generally take students from a reputed institute like us, and having an accreditation of NAAC A grade and NBA, and it is a plus point to any student who is generally pursuing a degree course in our engineering institute. So if I want to understand, so COs are being present there. So that is entirely, you don't have to write the COs. It is the course instructor. That is my job to write the COs here. So CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5, and you have 5 COs that is being present there for the subject on signals and systems. So first CO says a statement, what it says: identify the different types of signals, its classification, basic operations, and properties of signals and systems. It says L2 and L4. So what is L2 and L4? It is the revised Bloom's taxonomy level. In each and every understanding, if I read a course, if you have gone through basic electrical engineering course, I'll be having 6 Bloom's taxonomy level that is being present there from L1 to L6. So as a course instructor, it is my job you to take it to the higher level. So if I reach L4, L5, L6, that is very important, and understanding certain aspects, it is also quite important here. Next, the evaluation of continuous and discrete time signals using impulse response, differential equations and difference equations, and also the block diagrammatic approach in case of both the types of signals there. Next one, analysis of periodic and non-periodic and continuous linear time invariant system using the continuous Fourier transforms. So what I told you when I talk about CFT, that is continuous time Fourier transforms. Next, at the same time, discrete time Fourier transforms. So it is referred to as DTFT. So to study the signals and discrete linear. So here you have two types of signals. If you are able to catch it quickly. So when I talk about the classification of the signals, one such classification is quite here itself, which is the continuous time signal and the discrete time signal, which is being present here. So any system, what you take, let me give you an example of a mobile phone or a TV. You have both a receiver and a transmitter being present there. So what happens is when you send a signal from the transmitter, the receiver is able to catch it after certain operations like satellite reaching it and coming back to the receiver. We are not concerned too much about the aspect here. So you have the signal being transmitted and the signal being received. So you have a slight delay. What we are seeing right now, as I just increase my voice now, you will be having the amplitude of the signal to be also raised. So as the time progresses, so just a few seconds back, I increased my voice, and later on, I'm talking normal now with a given tone here. So that is one thing that you will be able to observe. Next one, you will be having the interpretation of discrete linear time invariant system using Z transform and its properties. Okay, that is one thing that is being present there. So that forms the total course outcomes. After going through all the modules, you will be able to see this course outcomes being present there. As a course instructor, I want you to take it to the higher level. So MATLAB is one of the tools that is being present there to analyze a given signal. I need to program it. So in your coming semesters, you will be having the programming aspect, and this semester also you are having a programming subject called as microcontroller. So any programming thing, you will be having the common syntax level and the common aspects that are being present there with a given software package. Okay, so I'll give an insight about what is MATLAB and how to write a program and all once we begin with the other assessment tools. I'll give you certain assignments which you will be able to follow it once I do the programming myself. So next one, you will be having the contents to be discussed in module 1, which is the introduction. I'll be talking about the general applications where I'll be using a signal and how do you define a system and all. So what is the definition of a signal? That is the fundamental aspect that you need to remember when you talk about a signal here. Next one, I need to talk about a system. So how do I need to define a system, and what are the things that are being governing a system aspects? Those are the things that you will be able to define it for a system there. Next, as I told you, I need to classify the signals there. So once I want to, so the classification is entirely dependent on one aspect, that is a parameter which is to be changed. So you have the classification of signals. I'll just give you a hint signal. Next one, you will be having an even signal and an odd signal. Next, you will be having a deterministic signal and a random signal. Yeah, so these are the signals which are being present there for the course here. So in nature, generally, not I don't want to restrict it to a course. In general, if I want to talk, these are certain major classification of signals. Yes, there are few more. I'll be able to discuss it once I commence the class. In the coming lecture hours, I'll be able to discuss few more which are being there. So now when I talk about basic operations on signals that is to be followed, basic operations on signals is entirely with respect to the addition of the signal or two signals being added together. Next, you will be having the subtraction of a signal. Yes, next you will be having the multiplicative property of a signal. So when I talk about multiplication, I can also generally refer it. You have a common notion called as scaling property of a signal. So that comes with respect to the properties. And here, when I talk about it, it will be the basic operations that is being present there on a signal there. Next one, elementary signals viewed as an interconnection of operations. So here, I'll be having two concepts here. Elementary signals. First, I'll be able to discuss what do you mean by an elementary signal? What are the different elementary signals that are being present there in case of a signals and system, and how do you interconnect it with respect to a system? When I talk about interconnection here, it is the input what I'm going to give it to the system that is entirely being analyzed with respect to certain equations or certain conditions, to be more specific. Next, the properties of systems. As I told you, scaling property, time shifting property, and many more are being present there. One such property which I will be able to link it to the second module second module also is with respect to the convolution property. Convolution theorem is being present there, convolution property. So convolution is one of the important aspect when it comes to the signals and systems here. So signals and systems convolution, if you don't know convolution, it is quite difficult to understand any such signals or the operation performed on a signal, and generally the how the system behaves when you apply a given signal there. Coming, I just gave an example of the TV channel or generally voice that I just spoke a few minutes back, and also the signal what you are receiving right now. We are conducting an online class now. If the signal strength is too good, you will be able to understand it better, or there is no break in the voice, or the video being completely diminished, or certainly you will be able to see some distortions which is being present there in the video there. And I can hear some of the breakage in the voice right now. Someone would have been turned on the microphone and their voice is being present there along with my voice. So certain aspects should not be there in this class. So I request everyone to turn off their microphones again and see to it that you follow the concepts in the class. So when I talk about a certain aspect of the signal here, so I need to define what is a signal. A signal can be defined as a function that conveys information, and it is represented mathematically as a function of one or more independent variables. A signal can be defined as a function that conveys information. I can repeat here, it is defined as a function that conveys information. So you have two aspects. I mean, a signal, it has some information and it is represented in the form of a function. Many of the aspects what I see a signal is a function. That is entirely wrong. So it is a function, I do agree, but it has to convey some information and it has to be represented mathematically. But as a whole, you will be able to understand a function is also being represented mathematically. Why can't a function be called as a signal? Yes, a function cannot be called as a signal because it cannot convey any information. For example, f of x, I just say it is x as a function of x, the variable x being present there. So if it doesn't contain or convey any information, it is just a function. And it can be called as a signal once it conveys any information. So if I have certain set of information to be passed on, for example, it will be passed on in terms of the packets when I talk about the communication systems here. So that conveys information to the receiver from the transmitter. If I send certain packets, I'll be able to receive certain packets when I talk in terms of the communication systems. So it is a function. It can be represented in the form of a function which conveys the information, and it is represented mathematically by one or the other variables, one or more independent variables that are being present there. So now I just spoke about the function of time. So f of t, t squared plus 3t plus minus 3, any function if you take, or t cube or t power 4, or whatever may be the function, nth power. So any function that is to be represented, you have certain signal which is being represented as the function of the time, which is the most prevalent single variable. So generally, once you see a sine wave, you have the representation of sine wave being given as positive cycle and the negative cycle. The time is taken as the x-axis, that is generally the variable into consideration. And how you are going to write the voltage equation, considering the sinusoidal voltage being present there, V of t, that is the instantaneous voltage, that would be equal to Vm sine omega t. Omega generally it is the angular frequency, so it is said to be a constant, that is 2 pi f. So time only based on one parameter, that is time, and also the maximum value of the voltage that is being present there, so that is taken into consideration. So function of time, so it represents a single variable there, right? So once I talk about one single variable being representing, that is called as a one-dimensional signal. So example, I'm talking now as a I'm using a speech signal for you to convey the classes. It is represented mathematically. So what you are going to see, an increase in the magnitude right now. Hello, this is the increase in the magnitude, what I told, and representing it mathematically as a function of time, you will be able to see it in terms of the decibels. The sound is expressed in terms of the decibels there. So if I want to express in the function of time, that is where the amplitude varies with respect to the time and the word that I'm speaking right now, and also it is entirely dependent to the person who is speaking it. So Mohan just gave an example. One of the faculty is talking at the back end. That is an interference of signal that is being present there. So he was able to listen to the signal that is being present there from the other faculty who was there in the given room. So the next one is the function which depends on two or more variables. So here it is a concept of image processing, what I'm going to refer here. So the function that depends on two or more variables, the signal is said to be the multi-dimensional signal there. So image signal, what you will see in terms of an image, you will be having it in terms of the pixels there. That is the RGB code that you are going to follow, red, green and blue code that is going to be followed, and all the pixels joined together, you will be having an image being formed. So x-axis and the y-axis, that is generally the two-dimensional aspect that is being present there in case of a image signal there. So a photographic image, or generally an image which is being represented as brightness as a function with two variables that are being present there. A small dot, you'll be having the x and y coordinates being given there. So small dot, that small dot is generally called as a pixel. Once you have more pixels being given there, it will be a image completely. The image signal is said to be a multi-dimensional or a two-dimensional signal that is being present there. If I have more variables, if I want to use it in terms of the space generally being given there, so along with time, space is also one important variable that is being used. If all these three things combine together, you'll be using it as a multi-dimensional signal that is being present there. So if I want to talk about the real life examples, generally in these times, if you are listening to a heartbeat of a patient, the doctor is able to diagnose it, or how do you generally decide whether the patient is alive or dead once he met with an accident, or understanding the state of health of the patient? So he'll be having the stethoscope being present, and generally you'll be able to test the patient, or see whether the patient is whatever the type of problem that he is going to he has already faced. And heartbeat generally, that is one important thing. So where you will be having the systole and the diastole, doctor is able to diagnose and able to tell whether the state of health of a patient is entirely, generally, if I want to talk about one thing, that is the heartbeat there. So any doctor would be able to gauge depending on the heartbeat. And yes, you are having a few recent advancements in the medical field also, where you will be having to able to check the heartbeat of a patient there. So next, quite relevant to the current scenario of the yesterday or today, you will be able to predict what is going to be the weather forecast there. So weather forecast currently measuring the wind speed in terms of kilometer per hour, and temperature in terms of degrees centigrade or Fahrenheit, or humidity, and the variations in these quantity, whether we can able to travel to certain places if things are going good, yes, and whether to go out or not. That is one thing that is entirely being present there in terms of the weather forecast there. So what I want you to do now is, I want you to list out certain real life examples of signals. So I just gave you two of the examples there. I want you to go through it, go through some of the examples of signals that is being present there, and what you come across generally in case of real life examples of signals. At least 3 examples would be quite easy for me. Okay, so let us stop here right now. And what I want you to do here is, I have given the Google Classroom code to each and every one of you. I have posted it in the class WhatsApp group. So I want you to submit this assignment by tomorrow, or by today evening, it would be fine, or by tomorrow if you submit it, tomorrow 5 p.m. if you submit it, that would be easy for me. So list some of the real life examples. Yes, I've given you some reference textbooks also. You can go through certain reference textbooks, and you can able to list out certain real life examples of signals being followed. So in the next class, we are going to talk about certain classification of signals, one thing, and how I'm going to classify the signals. Yes, that is the first one, which is the continuous time signal and the discrete time signal. So this is one of the important classification there. Once I talk with respect to the once I move with Fourier transforms also, and also with respect to the discrete Fourier transform that is being present there. So I'll be able to analyze certain aspects that are being present there. So the real life examples of signals and systems have to be followed carefully. So here, what I'm going to do now is, so I'll be able to stop this session right now. And if you have any queries, I'll be able to listen to your queries. I'm stop sharing right now. So see to it that if you have any queries, you can just unmute yourself and you can talk to me. Yes, yes, anything from your end? Yes, if you have any doubts, unmute yourself. Hello. If you have any doubts, unmute yourself and let me know. If you have any doubts, unmute yourself and let me know, or else we are going to wind up the class now. If you have any doubts, and we can discuss. Anyhow, I'm going to stop the recording now.